God of War Ragnarok is ramping up for something, which is leading me to say, what is coming? I'm going to walk through a variety of theories about what might be going on with God of War Ragnarok, as they are apparently ramping up for a very big marketing something. So I'm going to pull from thegamer.com as well, as I said, give you some of my theories about what might be going on. Is it coming to PC this year? Are we getting DLC? What exactly is happening with this title? So according to thegamer.com, God of War Ragnarok has seen a renewed marketing campaign hit the streets worldwide recently. Massive Leviathan axes have been spotted in London, Kuwait City, and a giant Mjolnir landed in Delhi. So what are they doing? Why are they just seemingly having large pieces of, props and things from the game showing up in different places in the world? Like, they haven't really been doing anything. The game already came out. It did very, very well. Well, more has come out from this thegamer.com report. As reported by PSU, PlayStation Canada's Instagram account posted a video of Mjolnir surrounded by a swirling snowstorm with a weather alert underneath it that said, Fimbulwinter at the big game, alongside the caption that said, forecast calls for a blizzard on 2/12/23. So they're hinting at a Super Bowl commercial, and I went and checked. It's about $7 million for a 30-second ad, somewhere between $10 and $12 million for a 1-minute ad. And they've already done tons of advertisement. They've already done tons of marketing for God of War Ragnarok. So why would they suddenly be doing more? And why would they do one at one of the biggest events, one of the most expensive advertising endeavors that you could possibly think of? Like, I couldn't think of a more expensive time to do advertisement than at the Super Bowl. Maybe the Olympics or the World Cup, but the Super Bowl is pretty expensive. It's known for that. Now, according to reports, DLC would be unlikely. According to thegamer.com, we've already been told that there won't be any DLC for God of War Ragnarok, so unless they did a giant U-turn or they just straight up misled us the entire time, they're saying don't get your hopes up for a DLC. And that's not surprising. One of the very first interviews they did was like, we're just not going to be doing DLC, or that a DLC plan would be unlikely. Now, some people are theorizing that we could be looking at a new Game Plus or Photo Mode. What's more likely is that we're about to get a release date for the promised new Game Plus and Photo Mode. I'll be dealing with that at the end of this video when I walk through all the various theories. Like, I think, really? Seriously? You're going to spend all that money for that? I'll talk about that in a moment. But the real question would be, when will it land? Like, when would they be doing this sort of new Game Plus thing and this photo mode? Now, according to thegamer.com, we've been told that New Game Plus will be arriving this spring, so we may be about to get an actual release date. Again, I'll talk about that in a minute. I don't know why you would spend this kind of money to promote that. Also, what about something just like a new campaign, like a new renewed ad campaign for the game, just to talk about it? According to The Gamer, there's also a chance that this is just a new ad campaign designed to shift even more units of the already wildly popular game. It's already Sony's fastest selling first-party game, but that's not going to stop Sony wanting to push cash even more into the blockbuster AAA hit. So I want to walk through a variety of theories here, because I think there could be something very, very significant going on. So the first and foremost theory that many people are probably going to try to go with is just DLC. They surprised us, or they're going to surprise us. They weren't honest. They're going to drop DLC, okay? This seems the least likely, given how quickly they were like, no, we're not going to be doing DLC. DLC is very unlikely. Not only that, this game has a fairly comprehensive ending, right? Like, if you've played the game, it's almost an ending that's just like a little too neat and tidy. I even in my review said it was a little safe. It was like every little thread got nice and tied up. Like, they left no loose ends, no unresolved stories. I mean, it was very neat and tidy. And I think that was super intentional, okay? They want to be done with Norse. They want to move on. Now, there's a likelihood that we're going to get some spin-off game with Atreus. I think they leave room for that. Something like a $40 game or something that would just be him. He had a lot of gameplay in Ragnarok. You could give him his own spin-off game. You know, they did something like this with Uncharted. It could be like $40. Miles Morales was also not full price and kind of felt like a spin-off game. It was sort of in the already built world. Maybe they do something in the already built world and you go out and do things with Atreus and he gets like more abilities. I don't think you would be buying and doing advertisements for Ragnarok if you were doing something purely with Atreus. I think that would be a little bit weird, so I don't think that's the case. And given that that's the most likely sort of add-on content we will see with Ragnarok, I don't foresee them doing anything like DLC. I don't see them doing any add-on content with Kratos. There'll be maybe continued stories with Kratos in the future, but he won't be in Norse. It won't be in Ragnarok, okay? I think they leave very little room for any more story within all of the arcs and all of the conclusions at the end of Ragnarok. So DLC theory, I think, is the weakest. I think you can shoot that down pretty easily, given they kind of shot it down themselves. Now, let's talk about New Game Plus and Photo Mode. I can't imagine spending this kind of money for something so inconsequential. I really, really can't. New Game Plus is cool. New Game Plus is certainly nice, and so is Photo Mode. But are you really going to spend $7 to $12 million for a Super Bowl ad? Are you really going to be building Mjolnirs and different things all over the world to be like, hey, we added New Game Plus and Photo Mode? You have to think about the fact that these would be features for existing customers. Like, it doesn't really line up for like a giant market spend. You're going to be doing this big God of War Ragnarok advertisement commercial push. I don't think you would do it for New Game Plus and Photo Mode. Like if I'm in charge and I'm thinking about the money that we might be spending in the marketing, I cannot imagine that being enough. Now, I could see this being combined with another announcement. Like if you're going to be doing New Game Plus, if you're going to be doing Photo Mode, and that's going to get added in, it could couple well with another announcement. So here's theory number 3. They could be getting ready to promote and announce combo units to sort of match the controller, the PS5 controller. It's got the wolves on it. It's blue. It's white. It's great color scheme for, the Sony brand. And they could be getting ready to launch combo units. Now, given how much Sony wants to populate the market with PS5s in 2023, this might be a good time to do that. You take your best title, you take your biggest selling title, and you combo it up with PS5s. You know, a lot of the people that are looking to get PS5s are probably considering Ragnarok as one of the first games that they would get. Now, I would say this theory is harder to believe because there's been so many leaks about the updated SKUs. There's like the PS5 with the detachable disc that's apparently on the way. In January, there was rumors about some dual controller, you'll get double controllers. That bundle would be on the way. I think they have a really hard time keeping stuff like that under wraps. That's been pretty clear. That's a more difficult thing to keep, kind of stamped down. So hardware leaks seem to be more readily available. So I would imagine if there was a God of War Ragnarok bundle, like a PS5 bundle on the way, it would have been leaked by now. There'd be whispers of the leak. There'd be people talking about it, okay? There's also, the potential theory that this is just an ad campaign. They're just saying, hey, listen, this is our most successful title. Let's just spend a bunch of money advertising it. I give this theory a very weak maybe. I definitely think it's harder to dispute this one. Like maybe they just want to spend a bunch of money talking about God of War Ragnarok, but spending this kind of money for your winning horse might make sense, especially given how it could be a really, really strong driver to push console sales. But given how well the PS5 kind of sells on its own, I don't know if you would spend this kind of money just to be like, hey, in case you forgot about the best-selling game last year, yeah, it's still around. Also, there was a pattern previously, I think it was last year, whenever they would repopulate the market with PS5s, there would be this huge influx of sales of all of their first-party titles, like Forbidden West and Spider-Man, and all these games would see this big influx of sales. So I don't know if they would feel the need to do this. It feels like that the market responds very well to the PS5's resaturating. The market responds very well to their first-party titles. So this kind of leaves me with one wild theory here at the end, okay? The PC port will be announced fairly early. They're going to announce it at the Super Bowl. That's what all this stuff is for. Like, hey, Ragnarok's coming to PC this year, because we already have information about how that's actually possible. I'll talk about that in just a second. I already theorized in another video. I have a stream that a ton of people checked out even after I wasn't streaming. It was that, hey, there was this trailer called Live from PS5. And I said, what if every game in this trailer has something happening this year, right? That's the trailer where everybody's theorizing there's an Uncharted in the trailer, and it's Cassie Drake or whatever. Now, Returnal was in the trailer. It's coming to PC in a matter of days. Ghost of Tsushima was in there. Maybe it's coming to PC this year. Maybe, PC releases is an important rhythm and cadence for Sony. We do know they have like half of their games want to be on either PC or mobile by 2025. So they would need to maybe kind of increase that cadence, like 1 or 2 a year probably isn't enough to get there. There was also the interview with Herman Hulst where he made it very clear that the earliest a single-player game would land on PC after launch would be 12 months. Well, the best game I could think of to do that sort of quickly, the best game I could think of to say, hey, let's get that thing on PC faster than any other title that we've done it, would be the game that sold the best, would be the game that was right there on the front line, absolutely crushing it commercially for them. Also consider God of War 2018 was their most successful PC launch to date, so they may be wanting to kind of strike while the iron is hot. God of War is hot, right? Let's get it on PC really quickly, okay? The biggest problem with this theory, like I'll readily admit this, the biggest problem with this theory is how far in advance this marketing would be compared to it landing in November or December. So this would be really early in like February to say, hey, yeah, it's landing on PC end of this year. Like that's really early. It would feel sort of also, I think, like a giant conflict with the marketing about like, hey, we really want to get our PS5 saturated and heavily out there in the market in 2023. And then all of a sudden you're talking about a PC port, like, oh yeah, the game's coming to PC, in 12 months basically. Because I said, hey, maybe, a November, December God of War Ragnarok PC release could be huge. You get Spider-Man out in November, Spider-Man 2, Ragnarok hits in December. Horizon Forbidden West has DLC coming this year. Maybe it waits a little bit longer to come to PC because that would be like a combo release since we're not really expecting DLC from Ragnarok. It might actually make it to PC before Horizon Forbidden West. So I honestly don't know. This one's a tough one for me to call. Something's coming, okay? It's so hard to look at that level of market spend, that level of money, and that level of focus and be like, oh, they're just really wanting to promote their awesome game. I mean, maybe you could say it did so well, they're sort of like reinvesting in the property and saying, hey, let's get the marketing out there. Let's continue to push this game. Let's just push it as high as we possibly can. The inclusion of the Super Bowl is what really kind of trips me up. That's a very, very expensive market buy. That's a very, very expensive advertisement buy. So I feel like those are all the potential theories. The PC port announcement, it's just an ad campaign. Maybe they're getting ready to, launch Ragnarok combo units, maybe New Game Plus and photo mode, and then maybe DLC. What do you think? Leave me a comment below. Where do you think this one is landing? I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love more God of War in any way they feel like giving it to us. So, as always, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell button so I can see you in the next video.